Hey everybody, it's Matt from Red Wings Rant. Rant, of course, the home for tirades and impassioned pleas for your Detroit Red Wings. Here again to do a quick dive into some analytics and statistics. Today, some stuff that I put together myself instead of just going through a random arrangement of Google Chrome tabs and trying to sort through what was going on there. And of course, what I'm referencing was the signing of Vladimir Namestnikov and kind of running through that as quickly as possible. So I'm hoping what I'm about to present today is going to make a little bit more sense than what we did last time. And today, of course, as you can see in the title of the video, we're going to be taking a look at Tyler Bertuzzi's contract and if it's fair. Of course, we're Red Wings fans, right? So the first thing that comes to mind is that we're looking to make this team, championship worthy. And the one thing that's going to kill that is contracts like Justin Abdelkader, Franz Nielsen, where it holds you back from bringing on maybe better talent. Maybe it holds you back from signing a restricted free agent ahead of time so that you can get them down on a lower salary. Who knows, out of the many different ways that those type of contracts can hold you back, what way it's really going to hurt a team, because you know what? We live in this reality, so we can't figure that out. But ultimately, this is something that came down as taking a look at Bertuzzi's contract and seeing that Yzerman did a fantastic job, and Bertuzzi not necessarily getting the shake that you might expect. And this very well puts a fantastic stamp on what an amazing job he is doing. The victim may be Tyler Bertuzzi. And again, as a Red Wings fan, what do you prefer? Do you prefer this team to have more flexibility and to have those contracts more in the Red Wings' favor? Or is it about giving a player their fair share? Now, we're going to take a look at that data now. And then, hey, from a personal perspective, that's all up to you. And if you want to hit us up on the comments on, where's your head at? Is it something where a player should get his due? Or are you a Red Wings fan first and you want to see what's done right for the team? Hit us up in the comments and let us know. But let's take a look at that data. All right, so take a deep breath. This is a lot of information to look at here first. But I want to let you know first how I came up with some comparable players. So if you could take a look at the individual expected goals, this was a great place for me to start. And then to measure that with some similar point production from some of the players that came up with the same individual expected goals for the 2019-20 season. And if we list them off here, you can see them plain as day, but we've got compared to Tyler Bertuzzi, Tanner Pearson, Andrei Burakovsky, Brandon Saad, Dominik Kubalik, Jakub Vrana, Pavel Buchnevich, Jason Zucker, Evgeny Dadonov, and Christian Dvorak. Of course, some of these contracts are a little more recent than others that we're going to be comparing Tyler Bertuzzi's contract to. But to start, you have to see how we came up with who actually is comparable. So this is a mix of as well as eyeball tests, and again, trying to bring up some sort of analytical representation for who's a comparable player, as well as taking a look at size of the player and keeping age within a spectrum. And of course, what I would throw out there is Jason Zucker falling outside of that filter, but we did want to include him on there because when it comes to maybe a comparable play, we get a little bit closer to what you see on the ice from Mr. Bertuzzi. So as we move forward, you can actually see the career statistics here too. We're measuring out the time on ice for each one of these players. We have the games played, points per game, and then we've created our points per 60 for a career. And we've actually been able to generate projected points that, I'm going to take a look at it and say, is this a perfect way to represent what a player does in the future? No. If we took 3 years or the last 3 years, that would probably do a lot of justice to what's going on here. But ultimately, this is just one way for us to put this together. And, similarly, we can take a look at the past season as well as what the career projections look like. And I'll let you know ahead of time, we're going to come up with some similar results in regards to whether or not Bertuzzi's getting paid fairly. And what's important to look at in this model is that I actually have an average number generated through all these players. And it was important for me to continue to add players to this model because I thought it would do more justice to what we were looking at from an average perspective, and what Tyler Bertuzzi, compared to one of these guys, might be very hard to do, but compared to as many as we have here, makes it a little bit easier for us to justify where we're coming from. When we estimated this past Sunday in our latest episode of the podcast, we actually guessed it would be 3.7 million because that was just the middle point that the arbitration or the arbitrator would just take a look at what Steve Yzerman was offering, what Bertuzzi was asking for. Boom, right down the middle, done deal. But it came under. Does it really matter to me that he's losing those $200,000? No, but when you have a job as easy as cutting something right down the middle, it started to make me wonder, like, did I miss something in analyzing what Bertuzzi's numbers might be? Prashant Dyer, Helene St. James, both had estimations that were above the 4 million mark, actually from 4.5 to 5 million. They're trying to figure out where Bertuzzi was going to land contract-wise. Now, there's the whole COVID situation, there's the freezing of the salary, but again, we are talking about an arbitration hearing where two guys produced a number, and if you cut it down the middle at 3.7 million, those numbers are far beneath what was projected over the summer. Now, if we move down to the bottom of this model, you can see plain as day that the salary in millions was 4.34 million on an average basis for all of these guys that we determined to be the comparable players for Tyler Bertuzzi. So if you just took straight up that number, boom, it's a loss for Bertuzzi. Almost a loss of $1 million, but you can see that there. So what I wanted to do was build out something that went a little bit deeper, and we looked at dollar per point. And we have it represented here in the numbers. And again, the average number for dollar per point. So this is how much each team is spending to get a point of production out of a player. And it's at $94,659.26. That dollar per point for Tyler Bertuzzi is $71,000, $377.33. So just to kind of give you a better idea of what's going on here, this is the graph. Now, to make those numbers a little bit easier to digest, I came up with a graph that shows the dollar per point. The line striking through between the $100,000 mark and the $80,000 mark is that average number. And you can see how far below Tyler Bertuzzi comes on that. Now, comparable is a guy like Dominik Kubalik, who's working through his first contract. A little bit of understanding there. Tanner Pearson coming over the average. Andre Burakovsky well over the average. Brandon Saad at that $6 million mark, well over the average. How much a team is maybe normally spending on a player of Tyler Bertuzzi's caliber. So this is where we're starting to define, or this is where the final idea comes into play. Was Tyler Bertuzzi treated fairly in this arbitration? And was there something missing from Tyler Bertuzzi's camp to help him make a few extra bucks? All right, so we're going to look at one more thing that could possibly put the cherry on top for Tyler Bertuzzi, and what these numbers manipulated a little bit could look like from a Bertuzzi asking point perspective, and what you could draw from all of these players, how much they're making, and how much Bertuzzi's number really should have been. Okay, guys, we're going to do a quick explanation of what this calculation is, but we're going to take a look at the points per 60 for Tyler Bertuzzi. And if we are going to be fair, now we've been saying all of these different average numbers, and Tyler Bertuzzi's average salary comes underneath what the average salary would be for all these comparable players. We're going to take his points per 60 and weight it through the average. So we're actually going to say, what is the percentage that Tyler Bertuzzi is scoring from a points per 60 perspective compared to everybody else? And it's as simple as doing this guy here, 2.14, which was Tyler Bertuzzi's number, and dividing it by 2.24, which was the average. And we get close to 96%. And we're just going to go right ahead and multiply that number by 43 $4,000,000. And that was the average salary in millions, or I should just say the average salary for all of those players that were comparable to Tyler Bertuzzi. And we get this number here, which is $4.146 million. I'll just say, based on what I've seen in very simple calculations and a very simple run through of an easy model, to me, it looks like Tyler Bertuzzi kind of got screwed. What else can you say? So what I'd like everybody to do is let me know what you think about what happened with Tyler Bertuzzi. I hope that you can comment on this video and let me know what you think. Again, as we started the video, you have that idea, like, why would you ever want the Red Wings to be screwed on another contract after we're ready to, we want to buy out Frans Nielsen. We just bought out Justin Abdelkader. But this is just sort of that question from a Tyler Bertuzzi perspective. Did he kind of get shafted on this one? Did he get boned? Maybe a little bit. So that's the conclusion we're coming to. I hope that you guys will subscribe to the channel. I hope that you'll check out bodpodcast.com, where we actually go over pro wrestling, as well as the Red Wings Rant podcast and the show, and of course our blogs that are now joined by Jesse, as we mentioned earlier in the recording here. Subscribe, you won't miss a gosh darn thing. But you can also find us, as you can see in the top left-hand corner of the screen here. It's at BOD Hockey on Twitter and at brothers_of_discussion on Instagram. So hang on tight. We're going to have a button here in just a second for you to subscribe. But as always, you can always just click subscribe. Let's make sure I get the right side here. Oh, boop, boop. Yep, right down there. Just go ahead and click it. You're not going to miss a thing. You get to see this. Look at this funny guy. Yeah, he's just going to keep talking at you. And then, you get some animated Red Wings analytics coverage, right? Wasn't too boring, was it? Nah, you learned a thing too. How about that? You learned something. All right, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a good one.